Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we will talk about how I started as a QA, my first interview, my first project, and also the first salary I've got after a month of work. So enjoy! This video I mentioned that the next video will be kind of different, and by different I mean, as you can already see, this video is gonna be I don't know, face-to-face experience, because I wanted to share my experience from my first interview when I started my job as a QA, a junior software tester. This was back in 2008. My interview was a little different from how interviews are structured right now. I mean, not only how they are structured, but how they are performed. For example, my interview did not had so many technical questions, because back then in 2008 there were documentation and so on, but people were not so aware of QA or software testing and so on. It was all the early days, so as a manual tester you would only need to test your skill to be able to have QA related skills, and I'll get back to that in just a second. So I had no technical questions. The part of the interview that would mean you're getting in or not was, for example, how it was in my case. You would have a PC and an application. So you're in front of a PC. You got a test application or a demo application, I don't remember exactly the name, in which you could play and find as many bugs in a limited time frame. I think it was 10 minutes or something. So within 10 minutes you get an app you never saw before. You have to identify as many bugs as you can. You have to document them, screenshot and a short description. And after that you would see the results. So for example, in 5 minutes, usually people find 10 bugs. If you find 12 or 15, then you're hired, or something like that. So it was really a hands-on experience, because you need to demonstrate how your eye is trained to find defects, and if you are, let's say, motivated to find bugs, or are you able to see the defects in an application that you don't know before. I mean, which you haven't tested before, you don't read any specs, you just get an application. Okay, now, okay, this is like a bug, this is a bug. Of course, there were some UI bugs which were really easy to spot on, like misalignment or typos or stuff like that. But basically, this was it. This was most of my QA interview. The second part was a psychological test that I had to fill in, and the third part was a open discussion with the hiree, the person that was hiring QAs, as I can say. So after this I got hired. The building that we were in was a villa, I mean, and the QAs, the whole QA department, let's say, it weren't so many people, like 10 or 20 people, if I'm not mistaken, and we were in the basement. And so the basement was for QA, the main floor was for, if I remember well, auxiliary departments like HR, IT, and so on. And I think there were at the first floor some devs and other teams. I may be mistaken, it's been like 12 years. But the main thing that I got stuck with was that I started in a basement testing, and yes, the first project. The first project was an antivirus software, and we had like 4 or 5 machines, because we had some CDs with viruses, and you had to set up your own environment, which consisted of a server and I think 3 clients, yes, depending on the OS they were using. One was with Windows 7, Windows XP, I don't remember exactly, but the point is you had a server, you had some clients, and you had some CDs with viruses. So you installed the antivirus, and then you take the CD and test each client. For example, you go to the client with XP and antivirus software, you put in the CD with the virus, and then you would get an alert on the client, I mean on the actual machine, that you have inserted some viruses in the CD-ROM, and then you would get an alert on the server. This was one of the main functionality that I remember we tested pretty much, and you had to do this for all the combination and different OSs and different type of I don't know, client version. I mean, when I mean client version, I refer to antivirus version. This was one of the part that we had to do, and second was, after a while you would understand the application at a level that you already knew where is everything. You don't needed some specs to go through the menu. You knew every functionality, how to open it and where to click it and what menu does which. So we were assigned the antivirus software, I think in Japanese or in Chinese, one of these languages, and we were assigned to find localization issues, meaning texts that were not translated to Japanese or Chinese, and or menus, or I don't know, hints or titles of windows and so on. And you can only imagine this was the start. And I mean, if you think like this, for now you wouldn't have so many machines. You would use virtual images and stuff like that. But it was really, just remember, it was 2008, and people were still getting used to software testing. They didn't think QA was so important at the time. But as you can already see today, QA is really important for every product, and this got developed in time. One of the important things that is to take away from here, as you saw, or if you didn't saw, please check out my video about the QA interview. I mean, not here, over here, yeah, QA interview. This is one of the videos in which I describe the full interview, just to have a common sense. How is the interview now compared to 12 years ago? I mean, back then people didn't ask so many theoretical questions because OfficialQaGuy was already there, the documentation and so on, but people, as in candidates, didn't knew this information, didn't know they need to know this information so they can come to an interview. Okay, I think that's it mostly. This is the first project that I got, and it was really interesting for me. I mean, just imagine, I just got from second year of college or faculty, how do you want to call it, and then I just got into IT software testing. It was really a challenge for me, but I embrace it. I'm glad I did this. I chose this profession 12 years ago, and I still love it, and I still find new things that I like about it every day. And last but not least important, just to give you an insight of how were things back then, just imagine the salary in 2008 was about 200 euros a month after taxes. Almost, not even 200 euros after taxes. So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and drop a comment with how you started as a QA. What's your story? What's interesting, or what was your first project? I think everybody has a first project that keeps remembering and goes back to. So thank you. Bye.